with her.
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize. I just give you these.
Oh, you don't know the I am? I'm like, no, I don't know who you are. So I did a little research. Information. That's some nasty work. I mean, here you are with this beautiful salon. We're here to celebrate you. Why the are we discussing Britt at your grand opening?
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. And today, we're gonna be talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I have a lot to discuss because a lot has happened. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to the video.
Yeah, let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flame. And if you wanna play with me, you can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, want it, securing the bag.
All I want to talk about is actually production and Bravo. To be honest, I don't want to say too much because, girl, if Bravo ever said, "Hey, you want to do a show on Bravo?" Girl, yes, I do. But I think this should be a telltale sign of when people say they do their due diligence in an investigation, but you see that they did not. A lot of things is not fair. And I think this is one thing about Bravo and the production company's umbrella that they have. They have multiple production companies that do the shows on Bravo. And something about Truly Original, it's just very dark. Potomac, New York, Atlanta, all run under Truly Original, and probably more too. I just feel like it is just a disservice that has happened to Kenya. Kenya, Bravo had announced that this is her final episode. She will not be on the show. They part ways with her for this season. And I remember when everything first hit the air, they were like, oh, you know, Britt didn't say anything about pow pows. She didn't say anything about, you know, she didn't have no weapons on her. But we see the footage. They put it in, and she in fact did say something about whips and pow pows. I just feel like two things can be right at the same time, right? But we're gonna talk about it. I just feel like Bravo did not do their due diligence at all. But like I said in my last video, I feel like they weren't going to get rid of Britt because they just did this whole cast rebrand and they just casted her on. So they didn't want to get rid of her. Just like in New York when they did their whole reboot, the one cast member, Lizzie, left the show, right? Because allegedly her husband said the N-word. She was beefing with Bryn. Now we know, you know, was she lying? Was she telling the truth? I don't know. Bring her back though. But the episode starts and we see, you know, Shamia and Angela at, you know, Shamia's house, her gorgeous house. And, you know, they're on good terms now. She's just like, girl, you know, I don't know what happened between Britt and everything that popped off. The shit was fucking crazy. And Angela was like, yeah, you know, the question was actually my question. She was like, so you over here being messy. She said, wasn't that I was being messy. I was just over here supporting my friend. So Britt and her, when they went on their walk last episode, Britt basically divulged some information about, you know, Kenya over here being snooty. She's like, yeah, if she come at me one more time, I'm going to check her. But I'm just like, Britt, Kenya didn't do anything to warrant that response from Britt. And Britt seemed like she came on the season for a problem with Kenya. Don't get me wrong, it's TV, so we know that the girl's going to have beef. But I just feel like, girl, you wanted a problem with Kenya. You got the problem, but now you want to sit here and cry, do all this and that, the third. I don't have no remorse for this girl. None. So I'm just like, for you to now be like, well, you know, at the end of the day, I reflect on the things I've done.
Production talked to her.
And
she's under investigation.
And I just want, you know, what I did was wrong. She admitted that she did say something about a pow pow, and she did threaten. It was a threatening tone to what she said to that girl. So I'm happy that she can acknowledge that, right? But I'm just like, once the damage is done, I always say this to people. Once you do something to someone and you invoke something or emotion with someone, you then can't now tell them to, well, you know, you have to take my apology. You can't retaliate. Like, that's not how that works. Once you do something to me, you can't then be like, okay, wait, now you can't do anything to me. That's not how that works. Right? Just like when people get into physical altercations, you hit me, I don't go to violence, but you hit me, you can't then just like, you can't hit me back. No, I can defend myself. Self-defense. After 3 hits, I'm about to wear your ass out. Okay? To each his own. Learn the law. You know, we transport over and we see Kenya at her spa, you know, before we get to, you know, the event. Kelly comes in, Cynthia comes, you know, everything is really cute. A lot of people probably don't know if you didn't watch the Ultimate Girls Trip, but Kenya and Cynthia have had they've had a very, you know, bumpy road in their relationship. Cynthia has been a champion for Kenya, but on the Ultimate Girls Trip, I felt like Kenya left Cynthia for dead, and Cynthia didn't feel supported by Kenya, and I totally saw that. I definitely felt like Kenya wanted Cynthia to feel the backlash and the fire from the ladies that she has felt, and Kenya stepped back and let Cynthia handle her own problems. It was just funny how the roles were reversed on that. Cynthia's on her press tour, you know, she's over here doing all this and the third, you know, standing behind, so it seems, Britt, and she's trying, I don't know, I feel like maybe Bravo was just like, yeah girl, you know, we're gonna see you on this press tour, girl, we're gonna pay you, what she said about the initial reaction, I 100% understand what she's saying about Britt and Kenya. I can support my friend, but I can also hold you accountable for what you've done. But I think this has taken a step further where now you're not holding me accountable. Now you don't have to entertain this girl to still support me. So I feel like Kenya probably feels the type of way because Cynthia is still engaging in a personal level with Kenya. And mind you, if that was my friend, if someone threatened my friend, yeah, I can be around you because we're on a show, this is a job, but I don't want to get to know you. You threaten my friend, even you were remorseful or not, I'm going to be on my friend's side. I'm going to hold you accountable always. I'm going to hold you accountable. But until that's rectified, I can't have a relationship with you. I said Cynthia before, but it was Porsha that went there. So Porsha, she goes to lunch with Britt, and Britt is just like, you know, I understand what I said was wrong. She's like, yeah, girl, like you was going off for no reason. Like it wasn't warranted. She was just like, yeah, you know, I'm a type of girl, well, you know, sometimes things can be taken, you know, taken out of context. So I understand that. So maybe that was what with Kenya. I just got upset because I felt like she was trying me about my ring. She was doing all this. Everybody been telling her like, girl, that's not what it is. Like nobody saw that. Nobody thought that. It was weird. So Britt is just trying to explain herself, and she's just like, you know, I want to apologize to her. I want to give her a memento to Kenya because I really don't feel like, you know, that wasn't my true intentions. Maybe you were just in the moment. Like she was like, you know, this is a new situation for me. This is new, me being around the camera. This is new. So it's like maybe you just caught up in the moment. You wanted to give that, you know, that Real Housewife moment. Cool, that's fine. But to make threats like that is, I don't know. Especially if we don't know you. This is the first time we see you on like our TV screen. Girl. Okay. Angela, she talks to her daughter, and basically her daughter was having issues with her aunt, and ends about her mom and aunt at home. And it's very sad to see everything go on with her family. And she then talks to Charles too about Porsha having questions about him, and he was like, who is she? Like the feds? And Angela's basically saying like, girl, you can try a lot of things, but one thing you're not going to try is my husband. So keep it safe and keep it on the motherfucking playground. So I feel like Angela said like she's going to start the maths. Thank you, girl. But let's get to what we really came here for, was Kenya's event. First of all, Kenya looked stunning. Probably one of the best I've ever seen her. She looks stunning. She's at her event. Miss Lawrence came. You know, all the girls come out. Like I thought this was a great display of her event and such a, you know, memento to Kenya's legacy, and for her to, you know, her hair care line, and then her hair care spa. I just feel like this was not the moment to do what she wanted to do. A lot of the stuff, especially at the end, was secondhand. I was embarrassed because I'm like, why would you take this moment from yourself to do what you did? At least do it at somebody else's But you took you took the air out the room. And now instead of people talking about your event and how fabulous and amazing you have spent this money and time to build your spa, now the only people gonna talk about is, damn, y'all see Kenya over here showing dick pics and like whatever the picture was. I'm not gonna try to allude to whatever it was. It's crazy she did that. Mind you, Bravo was cute with the edit because from my other videos, oh, Kenya was over here going crazy. Kenya, they said Kenya, what the hell? Kenya went to the absolute abyss. She went to Dante's Inferno, girl. Down, girl. She went there. Okay. Britt and Kelly came together, and a lot of people were saying if Britt was there, she wasn't there. She was there. She came, and all the girls were doing their thing. Britt came with flowers for Kenya. It's her way to apologize. But before then, Drew and Porsha have words.
I want to hear you say whatever you feel and how you feel. Okay. Use your common sense. Why would you bring anything messy when a simple phone call?
And Drew's like, hey Porsha, how you doing? Porsha's like, hey. She's like, since you've been ducking me, let's talk. And Porsha's like, girl, nobody's ducking you. If you want to say what you got to say, say what you got to say. She was like, Drew's just like, I just don't understand, like, where's this all coming from? She was like, I reached out to you plenty of times. And Porsha was like, you have never reached out to me. And she was like, Drew basically told Porsha, if you have something to say, just go ahead and say it so we can just get it out there in the air.
Those are just common sense things that did not take place. We had a conversation. Drew, you're lying about everything that comes out. Wait, we didn't have a conversation after my birthday? So
she was like, for you to over here be with my baby daddy on camera and you have never reached out to me, you have never done that. And Drew's like, she said, no, that's a lie. She said, I've reached out to you. And Porsha was like, girl, like, at the end of the day, you want to try to over here do all this? Like, girl, I have nothing else to talk about. It is what it is.
If they did, you need not come to me. If you are going to come with me with this energy, don't try to talk to me like you're singing a song.
I feel like in this situation, Drew is antagonizing, but Porsha is lying, right? The thing about Drew and Porsha is that they both have this little thing between themselves, and Drew be lying and Porsha be lying. But in this situation, I feel like Drew is antagonizing, and Porsha is flat out lying. I feel like Porsha knows at this point. Let's say she didn't know about beforehand. Porsha, you know in this moment now that they're working together. You knew before they were working together. You knew she had music, just like how you were shading your friend about her or her sound like Drew, right? Right. So for you now to be like, I didn't even know that y'all were working together. I didn't know that. You didn't call and tell me. To be honest, the person that should have called and told you was Dennis. Just like Drew was saying, like, hey, you need to go ahead and talk to her. He was like, nah, she was over here in Nigeria eating fufu. I'm not saying shit. Petty. But we see Britt Edie. King comes in. She's trying to get everybody's attention. Britt Edie was like, here is some flowers for you, Kenya. Some flowers for you, Kenya. I want to apologize. Kenya paid this girl dust. She's...
I just wanted to apologize. I just give you these.
Dust. Blow dust on you bitches, like Mariah Lynn said. And my whole thing with Britt is, what did you expect? You offended somebody, and just because you give me flowers does not mean I get to now, accept your apology. I don't have to do anything, right? I don't have to do anything. So Britt left. And she goes outside. Kenya getting everybody's attention. Kenya basically says, this girl has came after me. This girl has over here threatened me. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Britt Edie.
Talked about having that she keeps it on her at all times. She did. So this woman was saying all this stuff like, you don't know the I am.
And I'm like, why are we using your moment, like her speech, and you're using this moment to blast this bitch, who's, to be honest, a non-motherfucking factor in your life. She was like, this bitch is a motherfucking paid hoe. This bitch ain't shit to me. And when I said Kenya was going ham, but the more she pulled out them posters, the more I'm just like, ugh. Mind you, I was on my couch, had my wine in my hand.
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
Because she's showing that she is a fraud. She's saying that she's a fraud. She's saying she's a paid hoe. She's saying that she's a stripper. She said she's all this thing. And then she saw the poster. Boom. Everybody's like,
information. That's some nasty work.
oh my gosh. Just crazy. And Kelly left, she's just like, girl, this is some fucked up shit. She go outside and just like, girl, fuck this bitch. This is crazy. And I respect the fact that Cynthia in the moment told her, girl, I don't think this was the right moment to do that. I respect you. I love you. We'll talk to you later. But I gotta go. And I respect that. Because as a friend, I'm gonna hold you accountable. But like I said, I'm gonna check up on you. I'm gonna call you. Cynthia did say that she didn't hear from Kenya after that since. So.
What's worse than him? Whatever it is, that's where we at now. This is too much. I think you're bigger than us. Yes. And I think you're better. I am. I like him.
But yeah, Kenya done twirl down the hill. And I just don't think that was the moment to do that by any means. Two things can be right at the same time. What Britt Edie did should have got her fired. Period. What Kenya did, my whole thing is, if we're gonna fire Kenya, Britt should have got the same course of action. Because if Bravo's saying that Kenya didn't do revenge porn, and if Bravo's saying that Britt didn't threaten her with a weapon, which we know that did happen, and allegedly this happened. We say allegedly because we didn't see the picture. But they both should be gone. But I feel like at that point, Bravo invested so much money and time into Britt as a new housewife, they kept her over Kenya. And I feel like Truly Original was already ready to scrap Kenya. They were already done with Kenya. Especially after she went off Carlos King and did all that, I think they were already done with her. So they just found an easy way out she gotta go. My whole thing, Kenya did say that she escalated to production, and production just basically blew her off. I think that's sad that a lot of black women and women in general, voices get ignored on certain things. And I know this from experience that I see at my job. And I try to do my due diligence to make sure that women in general, but especially black women, voices are being heard, because they're escalating concerns and escalating, like, having tough times or whatever have you, mistreatment, and people just ignore it. And I just don't think that's right. But Kenya, two things can be right. I was on your side, and probably still am on your side, with this situation with Britt Edie. But you were wrong for what you did. I understood why you did it. You could have read her. You didn't have to do the picture part. You could have did all that what you did, but why would you do it at your event? Why? I would never make my event about no other bitch with me. Period. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But y'all, like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Peace.
Don't come for me. Unless I say for you. Thank you.
Brian Keith, LG, Black View. Bet you didn't know we the Holy Trinity. Now let it God stop a y'all and break your head here. Step into the room and get up in the bed. It tastes sweet, that's cause I'm good. It tastes sour cause I'm better than the hood. Cause I get you hyper when I'm running all around, cause I excite you. Let me talk real quick. You can't even get with the shit. You wanna go toe to toe with my flow? This Candy all I really asking for. Now I got to go. Got. Please like the video and comment. I like talking to you guys. Bye bye.